All right, welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something pretty interesting. We're going to take a look at what it takes to be a hotel assistant manager.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds fascinating.
Yeah. And specifically, we're going to be looking at common interview questions
Okay.
for this role. So this will be really interesting for anyone who's either thinking about a job in the hospitality industry or just curious about, what it takes to run this complex operation.
Absolutely. And, you know, uh, we have a really great source for this deep dive. We're going to be looking at Interview Prep, which is a website that, helps people prepare for all sorts of different job interviews.
Right.
And they have this really insightful list of questions that are commonly asked in interviews for hotel assistant managers, along with, some tips and suggested approaches for answering them.
Yeah, and what I think is so interesting is whether you are thinking about a career in hospitality or not,
Right.
this deep dive, I think, can offer you a lot of value because it gives you a really practical understanding of like the day-to-day responsibilities. Yeah,
And the kinds of challenges that an assistant manager would face.
definitely.
And so think of it as getting like an insider's perspective on what it actually takes to keep a hotel running smoothly.
Right. And I think what's so interesting about these questions is that, a lot of them touch on these really fundamental principles that aren't limited to hotels at all.
Yeah.
We're talking about, providing excellent customer experiences, leading and motivating a team, and just ensuring that everything runs efficiently. And these are skills that are valuable no matter what field you're in.
Absolutely.
So even if you've never even considered working in a hotel, I think there's still a lot to learn here.
Right. Yeah. So let's start by looking at the scope of this assistant manager role.
Okay.
One of the first questions that Interview Prep highlights is, what experience do you have in managing a hotel?
Right.
Now, on the surface, this might seem pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
but I think there's actually a lot more to it. Definitely. I think the key here is understanding that, this role, it's not just about one specific task. It's incredibly broad.
Right.
As Interview Prep suggests, an assistant manager is involved in overseeing the day-to-day operations of the hotel, addressing customer service issues, managing the hotel staff and the budgets, and really having a deep understanding of what makes for a positive guest experience.
Yeah.
So recruiters are really trying to see, have you had experience in all of these different areas?
It's like they're trying to figure out if you've got like a holistic understanding to
Exactly.
the operation, not just, experience in one small part of it.
Right.
And it sounds like, just listing previous job titles isn't really enough here.
No, not at all.
The advice really emphasizes highlighting those transferable skills,
Yeah.
like problem solving, multitasking, clear communication,
Exactly.
being able to handle a lot of different things at once.
Those are the things that are going to show them that you can really handle this role.
Right.
And for you, the learner, even if you don't have a background in hotels, think about, situations where you've had to manage different aspects of a project simultaneously,
Right.
where you've had to find solutions to unexpected problems, or where you've had to communicate effectively with, a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things that are going to demonstrate the underlying skills that they're looking for in a hotel assistant manager.
Okay, so moving on. Interview Prep also asks this question. Explain the importance of maintaining accurate records for all guests, staff members, and financial transactions.
Right.
Now, this might not sound like the most exciting question,
Yeah.
but I think it's actually really crucial.
It is. It is. And I think this really gets to the heart of, what underpins any successful operation.
Right,
It's not just about avoiding, simple errors.
right.
Accuracy in record keeping it has huge consequences.
Yeah,
Think about it from a guest perspective.
right.
Imagine, how frustrating it would be if you were incorrectly billed or if they lost your reservation.
Right.
Accurate records, they're fundamental for good customer service,
Yeah,
and they're also really important for legal compliance.
right.
And really for building trust with everyone involved, from the guests to the employees to the financial institutions that you're working with.
The source material mentions things like double-checking data entry and using automated systems, so it sounds like they're looking for someone who not only understands why accuracy is important,
Right.
but how to actually make sure that it happens in practice.
Exactly. You can't just say accuracy is important.
Right.
They want to know what concrete steps you would take
Yeah,
to ensure that those records are correct.
right.
And, the learner, think about your own life. How important is accurate information, when you're managing your personal finances?
Yeah.
Keeping track of important documents, or, Making sure that the details of a project that you're working on are correct.
Yeah.
That attention to detail, it's universally valuable.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so let's move into an area that's really central to this whole hospitality industry,
Okay.
customer service.
Right.
Question 2 asks, describe your approach to customer service and how it has helped improve guest satisfaction ratings.
Okay.
What jumps out at you about this question?
What's really interesting here is the focus on proactive improvement,
Yeah.
not just, reacting to problems when they come up.
Right.
They want to know if you're actively thinking about how to make that guest experience better.
Yeah.
And if you can show that your approach has led to, positive outcomes like higher satisfaction ratings.
Yeah.
Interview prep gives some examples like, using online feedback systems
Right.
and
Yeah.
responding to reviews on social media as ways to kind of get that information
Yeah.
and then actually make changes based on it.
Right. So it's about actively seeking out what the guests are saying,
Well,
even when they're
close.
not right there in front of you,
Yeah.
and then actually using that feedback to make real changes.
Right, to big improvement.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And the example answer actually talks about, showing empathy for the guest
Right,
and then focusing on finding a resolution
right.
to their issue, whatever that might be.
Yeah, that combination of proactively looking for feedback
Right.
and responding with empathy is huge.
Yeah.
And if we think about, your own experiences as a customer,
Yeah.
think about times when you've gotten good customer service.
Right.
What made a difference for you?
Yeah.
It's often, when you felt heard,
Right.
when the person understood your frustration,
Yeah.
and when they were clearly trying to find a solution,
Yeah.
that worked for you.
Right.
That's what makes a difference.
Okay. Which leads perfectly into question 3.
Mm.
How would you handle a situation where a guest is unhappy with their stay?
Right.
This feels like this is just mission critical for anyone who's working in this kind of industry.
It really is. And interview prep highlights some of the essential steps.
Right.
Remain calm. Listen to the guest.
Yeah.
Understand their concerns.
Acknowledge the
Acknowledge their issue. Apologize
Yeah.
for any inconvenience that they've experienced.
Right.
But it's really important to go beyond just listening and apologizing.
Yeah.
You have to take action to actually solve the problem.
Yeah.
Whether that's offering them a discount, processing a refund, or, giving them a free upgrade.
Right. It's about trying to kind of salvage the situation.
Exactly. Try and turn that negative experience
Uh,
into something positive.
yeah.
Or at least, mitigate the damage.
Right.
Minimize the negative impact.
And the example answer even mentions thanking the guest for bringing it to their attention.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Which is a really nice touch.
Yeah, it shows a willingness to learn
Yeah.
from that feedback.
Right.
And to do better in the future.
Yeah. And again, connecting it back, to anyone listening, think about how you handle these situations in your own work.
Right.
When someone's unhappy or, dissatisfied with something, do you listen to them?
Right. Are you trying to find solutions?
Do you try to find a solution?
Yeah, those are important no matter what you do.
Okay, we also have question 10, which is kind of a more specific example of a guest complaint.
Okay.
It asks, how do you handle complaints from guests regarding noise levels or other disturbances?
Right.
Which feels like a pretty common thing.
Yeah, definitely. That comes up a lot in hotels.
Yeah.
And, what's interesting here is that you have to kind of balance the needs of the guest who's complaining
Right.
with, the impact on other guests and the hotel policies.
Yeah.
You have to be fair to everyone.
Yeah.
So the suggested actions in interview prep include things like, investigating the source of the noise, talking to the other guests
Right.
or the staff who might be involved.
Yeah.
And then potentially offering some kind of compensation to the guest who was affected.
Right. It's not just about taking sides.
Exactly.
It's about gathering information
Right.
and trying to come up with a fair solution.
Right. Finding that balance.
Yeah.
And, thinking about you, the learner.
Yeah.
How do you address these kinds of conflicts and disruptions in your own life?
Yeah.
Do you try and see everyone's perspective?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's important.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the team aspect of the role.
Okay, sounds good.
Question 6 asks, tell me about a time when you had to manage a difficult employee situation.
Right.
What's the real key insight here for someone in a leadership position?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that, good management isn't just about identifying problems.
Right.
It's about actually addressing those problems.
Right.
And providing the guidance and support that employees need to get better.
Yeah.
The example that they give in interview prep is really helpful.
Okay.
It talks about a situation where, an employee was behaving unprofessionally,
Right.
but it turned out that they were just unclear about the expectations of the job.
Yeah.
So the solution was to give them additional training,
Oh, I see.
and that helped them to understand what they needed to do.
Right. So sometimes it's not about an employee being intentionally difficult.
Right.
It's about them just not having the information
Exactly.
or the skills to do the job properly.
Exactly. And then that's where the manager comes in
Yeah.
to provide that support.
Right. And for you, the listener, think about times when you've had to deal with, difficult team dynamics
Right.
or maybe disagreements among colleagues.
Yeah.
Is the goal just to assign blame
Right.
or is it to try to find a solution?
Exactly. Find a way to move forward
Yeah.
more productively.
Okay, question 7 builds on this and asks, how do you motivate staff members to provide excellent customer service?
Oh, okay.
Which again feels really critical in this industry.
Yeah, especially in an industry where, those frontline employees,
Right.
they're the ones who are interacting with the guests the most.
Right.
They're the face of the hotel.
Yeah, so how do you keep them motivated?
Well, interview prep emphasizes, how important it is for those employees to feel valued and appreciated.
Right.
And they suggest, things like offering bonuses and gift cards,
Okay.
but also, creating a positive and supportive work environment.
Right. It's not just about the money.
Exactly. It's about making them feel like they're part of a team
Yeah.
and that their work is appreciated.
And that makes sense, even just thinking about what motivates us in our own lives.
Yeah.
It's often that feeling of being valued,
Right.
seeing that our work matters.
Yeah, and being recognized for your contributions.
Yeah.
So think about that, the learner.
Yeah.
What motivates you and the people you work with?
Okay, question 13 asks, what methods do you use to monitor and evaluate staff performance?
Okay.
How does having a system for that contribute to a well-functioning team?
Well, it really emphasizes the importance of setting those clear expectations
Okay.
and providing regular constructive feedback.
Right.
Interview prep talks about things like, one-on-one meetings,
Right.
gathering feedback from customers,
Yeah.
and even using team-based assessments.
Right.
The key is to have that system in place
Yeah.
to track how everyone's doing,
Right.
identify areas where they can improve,
Yeah.
and also to acknowledge their successes.
And it's not just about pointing out what people are doing wrong. It's
Okay.
about helping them grow as employees.
Develop new skills.
And I like how they mention those customer satisfaction surveys again.
Oh, yeah.
That ties back to that proactive approach
Right.
to guest experience that we were talking about earlier.
It all connects.
Yeah, it all connects. Okay, so how is performance evaluated in your field or in your activities?
Yeah.
The learner.
Yeah, good question.
Are there clear metrics and opportunities for feedback?
Right. Do you know how you're doing?
Yeah. Okay, let's move to the more operational side of things.
Okay.
Efficiency and safety.
Right.
Question 5 asks, what strategies do you use to ensure that all employees are following safety protocols? I mean, this feels like a pretty fundamental
It
requirement.
really is. Any service industry.
Right.
Safety is paramount.
Yeah.
Interview prep highlights the importance of, doing regular training.
Right.
Having clear security measures in place.
Right.
Like cameras and motion sensors and just communicating regularly
Yeah.
about safety procedures.
So like sending out reminders.
Yeah, like monthly safety tips or something like that.
Okay.
It's about creating a culture of safety awareness
Yeah.
where everybody understands that it's a top priority.
And it's about being proactive
Right.
rather than just reacting after something bad happens.
Exactly.
And they give some good examples like the training and the security measures and those regular reminders.
Yeah, it shows that you're thinking about it all the time.
Right.
Not just when something goes wrong.
So for you, the learner,
Yeah.
think about the places that you're familiar with.
Right.
How do they handle safety?
Yeah.
What kind of systems do they have in place?
What are they doing to keep people safe?
Okay, question 8 asks, what steps do you take to ensure that all areas of the hotel are clean and well-maintained?
Right.
Which obviously has a big impact on the guest experience.
Yeah. Huge impact.
And just the overall impression.
The reputation of the hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I find interesting here is the focus on setting those clear standards.
Right.
And then managing the tasks really efficiently
Okay.
and doing regular inspections to make sure that those standards are being met.
Right.
Interview prep talks about managing the housekeeping staff,
Yeah.
creating those detailed cleaning schedules, and even using online scheduling software
Oh, wow.
to make everything run smoothly.
So it's getting pretty high tech.
It is. It's about having those systems in place
Yeah.
so that nothing falls through the cracks.
And it's not just about, like a quick surface cleaning.
Right.
It's about maintaining the whole property
The whole thing.
to a high standard.
Consistently.
Yeah.
It's got to be spotless.
So for the learner, how do you approach cleaning and organization
Yeah.
in your own life?
In your own spaces.
Are you a systems person?
Do you have checklists or routines?
Do you have routine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one might be a little intimidating.
Okay.
Question 18. How do you handle emergency situations such as power outages or plumbing issues?
Right.
This really feels like it would test someone's ability to stay calm
Oh, yeah. Under pressure.
under pressure, right?
Yeah, when
Yeah.
things are going wrong.
Yeah.
That's when you really see what someone's made of.
Right.
And interview prep really emphasizes the importance of being able to assess the situation quickly,
Right.
communicate clearly,
Yeah.
both with the guests and with the staff,
Yeah.
and then work efficiently to solve the problem.
Right.
And that often means coordinating with, outside parties,
Right.
like plumbers or electricians.
Right. Whoever you need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about having a plan,
Right.
or at least a framework of how
Yeah.
you're going to respond.
Yeah. When things go wrong,
When the unexpected happens,
because it's going to happen.
it will, and communication is key
Right.
in those situations.
Keep everyone informed.
Keep everybody calm.
Yeah.
Let them know what's happening.
And safe.
And safe, most importantly.
So the learner,
Yeah.
think about times when you've dealt with unexpected challenges.
Right.
How did you react?
What did you do?
What did you do to solve the problem? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk money.
Okay.
Question 11. What strategies do you use to maximize revenue and occupancy rates?
Right.
So this gets into like the business side.
Yeah, the financial acumen
Yeah.
that an assistant manager needs to have.
And interview prep really emphasizes a few key things here.
Okay.
They talk about targeted marketing
Right.
to attract, specific types of guests.
Right. You want to reach the right people.
Yeah.
The people who are most likely to stay at your hotel.
Loyalty programs to encourage repeat business.
Yeah. Get those people coming back.
Yeah.
For more.
And data analytics to understand guest preferences.
Right.
So it's not just about filling rooms.
No, it's about filling them with the right people.
Right.
And making sure that they have a good experience.
So they want to come back.
Exactly.
Okay, so the learner,
Yeah.
think about revenue and growth strategies
Right.
in areas that you're interested in.
Yeah.
Are there similar principles at play?
Do they use targeted outreach?
Yeah.
Customer retention.
Question 12 follows up with, do you have experience working with budgets and forecasting expenses?
Right.
So that really emphasizes the financial responsibility
Yeah, you're responsible for the money.
of the role. Yeah.
And, they point out the importance of experience in managing and monitoring those budgets
Right.
and being familiar with financial software.
So it's about understanding the financial health of the hotel
Absolutely.
and being able to plan for the future.
You got to be able to look ahead,
Yeah.
see what's coming.
And that's a valuable skill, even if you're not in a directly financial role.
Definitely. Even in your personal life,
Yeah.
budgeting is important.
So how do you handle budgets and expenses?
Yeah.
The learner.
In your own life.
Okay, let's talk about adaptability.
Okay.
Question 9 asks, are you familiar with any hospitality software programs or systems?
Right.
So in today's world, being comfortable with technology
Yeah.
is a huge plus.
It's essential.
And interview prep mentions some specific software.
Right. Like Oracle Hospitality and
Yeah.
Micros.
Right.
But they also say that even if you don't have experience with those specific programs,
Right.
just showing that you're comfortable learning new technology
Right.
and that you have good basic computer skills
Yeah.
is really important.
So it's about showing that you're not afraid of technology
Right.
and that you can learn new things.
You're adaptable.
Yeah.
And that's important in any job these days.
Absolutely. Okay, question 19 asks, what strategies do you use to keep up with industry trends and developments?
Right.
So this is about, staying ahead of the curve
Yeah.
and not falling behind.
Being proactive.
Yeah,
And, they suggest things like attending industry conferences,
right.
reading publications,
Okay.
and networking with other professionals.
So it's about being engaged
Exactly.
with the industry.
Stay informed.
Yeah,
Know what's going on.
and that's really important in any field.
It is. The world's changing so fast.
Yeah.
You got to stay on top of things.
So the learner,
Yeah.
how do you stay informed
Yeah.
in your areas of interest?
What do you do to keep learning?
Okay, let's go back to those interpersonal skills.
Okay.
Question 14 asks, how do you handle conflicts between staff members? So this is about, keeping the team running smoothly.
Keeping things harmonious.
Yeah.
And, interview prep really stresses the importance of communication. Encouraging people to talk to each other openly and respectfully,
Okay.
and helping them to find solutions that work for everyone.
So it's about being a mediator.
Exactly.
And it's about, creating a culture of respect.
Right.
Where people feel comfortable coming to you.
And where they can work things out.
With their issues. Yeah.
Without it turning into a big drama.
So the learner.
Yeah.
How do you typically handle conflict in your own life?
Are you good at mediating?
Okay, question 17 asks, what strategies do you use to build relationships with vendors and suppliers?
Okay.
So this is about the network.
The broader network.
Yeah, that supports the hotel.
Yeah, all the people that you have to work with.
And interview prep suggests, taking the time to really understand the vendor's needs.
Right.
Communicating clearly about your expectations.
Be upfront and honest.
Yeah.
About what you need.
And using smart negotiation tactics, like maybe considering volume purchasing to get a better price.
Yeah. Right. It's all about building those relationships.
Yeah.
So that everyone benefits.
Right. It's a win-win.
Exactly.
So the learner, how do you build and maintain those professional relationships in your own life?
What's your approach?
Okay, let's talk about taking initiative.
Okay.
Question 15 asks, what strategies do you use to promote the hotel's services and amenities?
Right.
So this is about being proactive.
Absolutely.
And driving business.
Getting people in the door.
Yeah.
And interview prep suggests a multifaceted approach.
Okay.
Using social media, partnering with local businesses, and running promotional campaigns.
So it's about, being creative and using all the different channels.
Exactly. Reach as many people as possible.
That are available.
And show them what you have to offer.
Yeah, and this is really similar to marketing, in any industry.
It's all about getting the word out.
So how are services or ideas promoted in fields that you're familiar with?
Yeah. What kind of strategies do they use?
Question 16 asks, how do you ensure that all staff members are aware of changes in policies and procedures?
Right.
So this is about communication.
Yeah, internal communication.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody's on the same page.
And interview prep really emphasizes the importance of having clear and consistent communication.
Yes.
Using different channels.
Different channels.
So they talk about team meetings,
written
memos or emails, and making sure that new employees are properly trained.
Onboarding is key.
On all the policies and procedures.
You got to make sure everyone knows the rules.
So it's about having systems in place to make sure that information gets to everyone.
So that nothing gets missed.
Yeah.
And everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing.
And that's crucial for any organization.
Absolutely.
Big or small.
Whether it's a hotel or a small business.
So the learner.
Yeah.
How are important updates and changes communicated in the settings that you're familiar with?
How do they make sure that everyone's in the loop?
Okay, final question.
Right, bring it on.
Question 20. Describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision as an assistant manager.
Okay.
This one really brings everything together.
It does. It really tests your judgment.
Yeah.
Your ability to think on your feet.
Interview prep talks about the importance of carefully assessing the situation, considering all the different factors.
All the angles.
Yeah, and being able to learn from the outcomes.
It's not just about making the decision.
Right.
It's about reflecting on it afterwards.
Yeah.
And seeing what you can learn from it.
Right.
The example they give is about handling a noise complaint.
Okay.
And it's a tough one because you have to balance the needs of the guest who's complaining with the reputation of the hotel and the comfort of the other guests.
Right. So there's a lot to consider.
There's a lot of factors at play.
Yeah. So it's about being able to make those tough calls.
You got to be decisive.
Yeah.
Even when there's not an easy answer.
Right. And thinking back on those tough decisions that you've had to make, the learner, how did you handle them?
What was your process?
What was your process?
Yeah.
So this has been a really interesting look.
It has been.
At what it takes to be a hotel assistant manager.
A lot more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, a lot more to it than meets the eye. And it's not just about the hospitality industry. It's about these broader principles.
Fundamental skills.
Of management and customer service and efficiency.
Problem solving.
Yeah.
Thinking strategically.
I think what really struck me was this emphasis on being proactive.
Oh, yeah.
Not just reacting to things, but actually trying to anticipate problems and find solutions before they even come up.
and always looking for ways to improve,
Yeah.
to do things better.
And that's such a valuable mindset
It is
in any field.
in any aspect of life, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in your personal life.
Yeah.
Being proactive,
Can make a big difference.
it can really help you to avoid problems.
And it's interesting to think that, just being able to answer these questions,
Yeah.
even hypothetically.
Even if you're not actually going for the job,
Yeah.
just thinking about how you would answer them
Really shows a lot
shows that you understand
about how organizations work.
the fundamentals
Yeah.
of business and management.
So it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
are there other roles
Right.
that seem really specific?
Niche.
Yeah.
Specialized.
But that actually offer these kinds of broader insights
Yeah.
that we can all learn from.
That's a good question. The learner.
Yeah. What do you think?
What other jobs out there
Yeah.
could teach us something?
About how the world works.
Yeah. That's something to think
That's
about.
something to think about.